Hello, good morning. This is Rick Pina, and I bring you today's word for March 17, 2016. This message is part of a series entitled Refine Focus, where we are learning how to focus on another level in 2016, and we've been focusing on the word. So we've been studying the first psalm, the verses 1, 2, and 3 from Psalms 1 for over a month now. Yesterday, I shared a message about God's timing, about the timing of God and how we can bring forth our fruit in our season, and how we're not going to bring forth our fruit until it's the right season. And today I want to flow in that same vein. This is God's timing continued. Let's get back to it. Psalms 1 says, "Blessed is the man that walketh not in the counsel of the ungodly, nor standeth in the way of sinners, nor sitteth in the seat of the scornful. But his delight is in the law of the Lord, and in that law does he meditate day and night." Here's the result. He shall be like a tree. Not just any tree, but a tree planted by the rivers of water. And this tree brings forth his fruit in his season. His leaves also do not wither, and whatsoever he doeth shall prosper. That's what we want to get. This is a picture of the blessed man, and this is the picture of the life that we're supposed to be living down here in the earth. But really, this bringing forth fruit in our season is really what I've been focusing in on. What I'm flowing in today, I'm flowing in that same vein. It's all about God's timing. You're not going to produce until God releases you to produce in his timing. So what does this mean to you today? I have three things to share with you on today. I really believe that yesterday's message and today, they're both critical. These are messages you might have to watch more than once to really get this down in your heart. So here we go. Number one, what and when are not the same thing. God will often reveal to you what he's going to do. But knowing what and knowing when are two different things. You might think you know what, even when God reveals to you the what, right? So you think you know what, and this happens to me all the time. God reveals to me what he's going to do. And so I release my faith. I stand in faith that is going to happen in the fullness of his timing, and then I start to live like it's already done. But when he finally manifests the what, when it finally happens, most of the time, God's idea of the what is far greater than mine, right? So his what is greater than my what. And when it finally happens, I realize that his plans were greater than my plans, or his plans were even greater than my expectations, because God is able to do, Ephesians 3:20, exceedingly abundantly above all that we can ask, think, or imagine. So a lot of times I thought I knew what he was going to do, but when he finally did it, it's far greater. So he exceeds my expectations all the time. But even then, knowing the what, or at least your picture of the what, is not the same as knowing when. You won't know when unless and if God reveals to you when, because God operates in his timing. So the key is learning how to wait on God and not moving until he opens the door of opportunity. Until he opens the door, you don't want to walk through it. If you move before his timing, then you're going to be operating on your own ability, your own strength, without his grace, and that's a dangerous place to be. Number two, your clock of expectation must be set to God's time of manifestation. So Solomon said in Ecclesiastes 3:11, God gave us the ability to think about his world, but we can never completely understand everything he does. Listen to what he said. God gave us the ability to think about his world. So we have the ability to think about heaven, to see into the supernatural, but we can never really completely understand everything he does. That lends itself to what I just said about his ways being above our ways and him exceeding our expectations. And then Solomon said this, and yet he does everything at just the right time. God does everything at just the right time. God's ways are above our ways. And when we operate in human wisdom and not divine discernment, we are not sure. We're just not sure why God hasn't done it yet, why God hasn't manifested what he promised us. And so we're waiting on God and we don't know why. But when God finally does it and he finally manifests what he promised, we can look back with hindsight and realize, you know what? God did it at just the right time. Now, I wanted it in 2011 and it didn't come into 2013. But when it happened in 2013 and 2014, I can look back and say, you know what? It happened at just the right time. Had it happened in 2011, I wouldn't have been ready, or this wouldn't have been lined up, or whatever. So God's timing is God's timing, and he always does it at just the right time. So that's why you got to learn how to be in sync with God and wait on God. Now, wait, W-A-I-T, is a four-letter word for most of us, but it's something that we must do. We must learn how to do it, because God's best is not going to manifest before God's time, period. Number three, and finally, When you learn to trust God's timing, you can truly enter into his rest. And really, that's the goal. The highest level of faith is rest. When you are truly in faith, you are also in rest. You are not worried. You know it's already done in eternity. And for you in the earth, it's only a matter of time. So there are things, I just use me as an example. There are things that God has revealed to me about my future that haven't happened yet. Now, I know they will happen. As a matter of fact, the fact that God already revealed it to me, as far as I'm concerned, they're already done. I mean, it's already happened in eternity. So in God's timing, when God looks at me, he looks at the whole span of my life. So he sees what's already done. So for him, it's already done. For me, it's a matter of time. So for me, it's a done deal. The issue is settled. There's no room for doubt. It's just that knowing what and knowing when are two different things. And as believers, we must be able to distinguish between the two. Yeah, God will show you something in a dream or reveal something to you. You get real excited. You think it's going to happen tomorrow. It may not happen for 5 years. And you have to learn how to discern God's timing and be okay with it. Be okay with it. Faith is about being sure, and faith is about being certain. Read Hebrews 11:1 about that God will do what he said, that God will manifest what he promised. But remaining in faith is about resisting the pressure that we all feel when days turn into weeks and weeks turn into months. And sometimes, I know we don't like to say it, but months turn into years. We all feel that pressure. Faith is about being sure. Faith is about being certain. And we all feel pressure to not be sure and to not be certain anymore when days keep going and months keep going and sometimes even years. But we must remain in faith and never give up. Galatians 6:9, we will reap if we faint not. And then, I have friends who love me. I mean, people who have nothing but good intentions, who love me, who believe God with me, that God has called me to do certain things, to do certain things in my life. And some of these things I haven't done yet. And these friends, because they love me, they want to see it happen. And sometimes, maybe even inadvertently, they put pressure on me to go do it, to get out ahead of God. And for them, I mean, these things are just taking too long. Now, they and I both know that I'm called to do it. But at the end of the day, I can't move until I'm released by God to move. So if I get out there ahead of God, I'm going to be out there without him, without his grace. And that's not where I want to be. And that's not where you want to be either. So I'm at peace. I pray that you get at peace. I've entered into God's rest, into divine rest. And I can't even allow my friends who love me to cause me to lose my rest and to get out there ahead of God just because God is not moving as fast as we want him to move. So, in closing, listen, you will bring forth your fruit, but it's going to be in your season. You can't force God to move before his time. Let's close this out with a declaration of faith. Repeat after me in faith from a believing heart. Say, Father, this is a season of refined focus for me. I bring my life into focus in 2016 by giving my attention to your word. Now, your word has taught me about your timing. You will make sure that everything happens at just the right time. So I learned to discern both your will and your timing. Success comes when I get in sync with the unforced rhythms of your grace. This is how your will is going to be done in my life, on earth as it is in heaven. Unforced, unearned, most of the time even undeserved. So I simply yield, connect, and flow with your grace in your timing. I bring forth my fruit in my season as you reveal things to me about my future. I know those things are already done in eternity. And for me, it's only a matter of time. So I enter into your rest. I know it's already done. I resist every inkling to fear or doubt. I don't accept any pressure to perform or to make it happen. I only move when you lead me to move. I only say what you lead me to say. And living this way, I am able to live in peace, enjoying divine rest, experiencing your best in the fullness of your time. I declare this by faith in Jesus' name. Amen. This is today's word. Apply it and prosper. If you're not getting these messages, go to todaysword.org and look on the right-hand side of the website. Sign up, get the messages. They're going to be a blessing to you. You probably need to go back and listen to yesterday and this message again. Get this concept of God's timing down in your heart, because if you do, then you'll be at peace. I'm at peace. You need to be at peace enter into God's rest. So you stop worrying and fretting over things. Listen, if it's God's will, he already revealed it to you. You got to be in faith, and it's only a matter of time. God bless you.